Hi guys, I'm back. I've been away for a really long time, but I'm back with this Venus retrograde in Scorpio video. I will do a little update for you in a different video as to what's been going on with me, but let's get straight into this transit, which I'm really excited about. So we've just gone through a summer of retrogrades. Pluto's about to go direct on the 30th of September. So whilst all the other planets are turning direct, Venus is about to take her turn to go retrograde. So what does this mean for us? Well, what does Venus represent? Venus represents love, abundance, fertility, beauty, romance, finances, all the things that we tend to like, okay? This is also, Venus also represents our values as well, our value system. And when she goes retrograde, this is a time when these things come up for review, as they do with any retrograde. Now, this particular retrograde of Venus, I feel we're all going to feel particularly strongly, really strongly. And this is because she's going retrograde in Scorpio. Now, she goes retrograde from the 5th of October to the 16th of November. So she's already in shadow period now. And what that means is basically the path that Venus is taking now, she will come back over during her retrograde period. So we're in Libra, she's going to move into Scorpio and then retrograde back into Libra before moving forward again. How does this affect us all? So, first of all, what is Scorpio about? Scorpio is the sign of death and rebirth and transformation. It's a sign of sex and intimacy and the deep, deep psychology behind the things that we do. It's about attachments. It's about our legacies. It's about taboo subjects. It's about taxes. It's all those things that on the whole, you know, in society, we try to skim over and don't really talk about much. Okay, it's the icky stuff that a lot of us don't really want to face. And this is why I think this particular Venus retrograde is going to be really, really quite interesting and profound for a lot of us, if not all of us, on some level or another. So, of course, what this can see happening is issues of love coming to light. Now, because of this, you've got to understand Scorpio is a very deep and intense sign. So Venus in Scorpio naturally means that Venus expresses herself far more intensely, far more deeply. Scorpio seeks to have profound and intimate connections with people. It's not interested in any of the surface stuff at all. It doesn't care about superficialities. It doesn't care about politeness. It wants to know your soul. I have Venus in Scorpio naturally. So I understand this energy very, very well. And I'm very much like that myself. I love to know the depths of a person, but I've learned as I've gotten older to temper that and let it just happen naturally rather than being so passionate and so intense. On the flip side, if you have Venus in Scorpio naturally, you can sometimes attract very intense people, and I've had a bit of both. So that's what this energy is like. It's already intense anyway. Now, with it moving retrograde, what we're going to start seeing is that people's minds are going to be very much about love. We're going to start seeing, especially, you know, if you're single, there will be opportunities to date. There will be opportunities to meet people. You might find that past loves, past romances come back. You might find yourself really, really craving an intimate connection with somebody, so much so that it's almost like your soul is aching on some level, okay? Now, there's nothing to say that you can't date if you're single during this transit. What we all say, though, as astrologers, is be very, very wary and take your time. Don't rush into anything. You have all the time in the world, okay? And this is because when Venus is retrograde, it means that we're working on a far more subconscious level. There are things playing out of a deeper meaning than we really understand, okay? And there may be things that we're not seeing about the person that we've just met or the person that we're dating. Things we're not seeing clearly. There could be some information they're withholding from us. So it's just a time to, yes, okay, get to know someone, but take it easy, take it steady, and take it slow. You can, you know, because Scorpio is connected to karma. It's one of the signs that is connected to karma, and because of that, yes, of course, there is a chance that you could find, sorry, I'm just taking my socks off. There's a chance that you could find your soulmates and eventually live happily ever after. But still, take it easy and take it slowly. I very much see people bumping into or meeting someone and it feeling instantaneous, this connection, this karmic connection. And it may well be that you have something to play out with another person if you meet them at this time. It's just best to try and keep your wits about you. Now, for people who are already in a couple, okay, this is an interesting Venus because it will make you want to bond and intensify that relationship even more. But what we've also got going on during this Venus retrograde is we've got Mars squaring off with Venus. So this heightens the sexual potency of the energy, okay? Everyone is going to be feeling on some level sexually aroused, okay? We're all going to be feeling this heightened sexual energy. Ultimately, sexual energy is creative energy, so there are many ways which you can use it. But it means that if you are in a couple and say your relationship is basically sound, basically healthy and positive, and both of you are a good match for each other, equally as strong as each other, then this could see you really having a passionate and intimate and exciting fireworks in the bedroom type time. And if that's the case, enjoy. If you're in a couple and there have been tensions, or there are tensions that are underlying, this is a time when they are apt to boil over. And you might find yourself feeling competitive with your partner. You may find yourself arguing with your partner a lot. Passions will come to the surface, and anything that's underneath the surface is likely to come out. This isn't the best time to really discuss things. It's better just to say, listen, let's just compromise, let's just compromise. Let's just cool down and think things over, and then when Venus goes direct again, she starts to come out of shadow after the 16th of November, then maybe you can look at what it is that's arisen during that period and discuss it with a cooler mind and a cooler head. So it's going to be intense whether you are coupled up or whether you're not, but the desire for people to couple up will be there. With that Mars squaring Venus, I'm not going to lie, there's a good chance that some people out there may find themselves attracted to someone outside of their relationship. This is a time when affairs can be very likely. So, I mean, that's your choice ultimately, but you want to be aware of the fact that it will play out and it probably will be found out. But, you know, everything is, you know, that's your choice. But like I said, this is going to be a really, really intense Venus, and it will be about, all of us will be feeling, like I said, a desire to connect with people and a desire to be known on the deepest level. And I mean, I'm single, and I've already in the shadow period seen it play out, you know, I start to play out in my life. And knowing what I know about astrology, and after the last time Venus went retrograde and I went into a relationship, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I'm an astrologer and I know better, but I did it. And I can tell you, I didn't know everything about the person, and there were sides that ended up coming out in the long run, but the emotional bond was already made whilst Venus was retrograde and we got together. And it can make it very hard if you get with somebody over Venus retrograde and it ends up being a very unhealthy and toxic relationship. It can actually make it really hard for you to break those bonds, but ultimately it will serve your highest good, because obviously there is something that needs to be played out karma-wise between the two of you, and you'll come out a lot wiser. So obviously I have that experience on a personal level. So this Venus retrograde, you know, I've been dating and stuff, but I've noticed little things that have come up for me on a personal level, and this time I know exactly what to do with them. So I'm going to tell you now what the best use of this energy really is. So Venus retrograde is ultimately about, especially in Scorpio, it is about getting to the truth of love. Scorpio loves to dig deep. Scorpio is the detective. Scorpio is the uncoverer, the miner, okay? And Scorpio really represents the idea that by going deep we find our most precious treasures, okay? So it is about truth. It is about the core of something. It's about getting to the core and the truth of your own heart, what love means to you. So with that in mind, it's really interesting to note that when we think of the story of Jesus, and bear with me, it might sound very unrelated, but it is. When we think of the story of Jesus heading into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, he went out there and he went into a cave and he meditated, did what he did, and he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. And they say that, I think the story goes, the devil was at the mouth of the cave trying to tempt him with all sorts of fruits and food and all sorts of things, and he resisted. And in the end, the devil came out and gave up. And Jesus came out of the cave, and he came out with a higher knowledge of himself, a wholesomeness, and with a higher consciousness. Now, how does this relate to Venus in Venus retrograde? You know, I hear you ask. So, the reason it relates to Venus retrograde is because Venus retrograde actually lasts about 40 days and 40 nights. Okay? Coincidence? I think not. And when Venus goes retrograde, our ability to resist temptation is at an all-time low. We all start to think with our libido. Our impulses become that much more strengthened. And with the fact that Mars is going to be squaring this Venus, is really going to emphasize that. It will take a lot of self-control, a lot of self-knowledge to hold back on those more animal-based instincts and impulses. A lot of us will just want to go out there and get laid, if I'm honest with you. So this is how it relates. So this is when Venus is at her most tempting, but this is, in a way, the dark side of Venus, okay? After all, she is the goddess of love and war. So this is where we see the other side of Venus, the shadow side of Venus. And the reason for this is because in order for us to really know love properly, listen, we've all been scarred, okay? None of us have perfect childhoods. We've all been hurt on some level. We all have some false perception that on some level we're not lovable, we're not good enough, we're not beautiful enough, we're not worthy enough. Venus retrograde pulls these issues up to the surface for us to look at. And what the ego does, and what the reptilian brain does, which by the way Scorpio rules and will be activating, the ego mixed with the reptilian brain goes, you know what, I don't want to look at that. I don't want to look at the fact that I don't feel worthy. I don't want to look at the fact that I don't feel lovable. I just want to ignore it, and let's just go out and satisfy this instinct and try and connect with another to fill that void, and then we don't have to look at it. That's what it wants to do, and that's basically what the distraction is. That is the devil, in a sense, at the mouth of the cave, trying to tempt you away from the self-knowledge that you could gain if you just, and I'm not talking about being chaste and virginal here, but if you just spend time with yourself. And the metaphor of Jesus going into the cave, a cave is ultimately a womb. It is our subconscious. So essentially, the lesson in it is saying, go into yourself, spend time with yourself, spend time with your wounds, spend time to reflect on your past relationships and the hand that you've played in them breaking down, or spend time thinking about how much you value yourself. Where do you put your energy? Do you give your energy to those that love you and to places and things that will return that love back? Or do you not value yourself enough? Are you giving so much of yourself to people and things that will never reflect back to you the beauty and the truth of who you are? This is what it's about. It's not about, you don't have to go into a cave and deny every single instinct you have. But ultimately, if you want to get the best out of this Venus retrograde, and I think this could be very, very powerful for those of you who really want to parachute is the wrong word, who really want to propel onto a very, very direct and powerful trajectory forward in your life, emotionally, spiritually, materially, everything-wise. Use this time, if you can, to go inwards and start being gently and objectively honest with yourself. Look at things like, where have I given up my autonomy? Where have I given up my own authority and my own sense of well-being in order to fulfill another's expectations or please another? Where have I given up myself in order to gain what I thought was security but really is false security? These are hard questions to ask, and I've been asking them myself over the past week. But I can honestly tell you they're extremely liberating, and the depths to which it takes you, if you work with this energy, I'm telling you the rewards will be beyond. And that is ultimately what we're being asked to do. So you can date, you can still be in a relationship, but whilst doing it, be mindful of the fact that there's another side to this. There is a far more conscious side to this, which is about going within, taking care of yourself, your body, and grounding yourself is a very good thing to do, but also really, really looking at areas of love. Do some writing, do some meditation, go for long walks, contemplate past hurts, contemplate the wounds you still carry, contemplate how much you love self, because ultimately this is what it's about. If we love and respect self, if we know what we are worthy of, if we know that we are worthy, we don't need to chase love. We don't need to chase anything that we desire. We don't need to chase illusions, and a lot of this is about illusions of love, illusions of abundance. We know that we are generators of love, we are sources of love, we are sources of abundance, we are sources of beauty in ourselves. And that, in that knowing, in that security, we then attract the healthy love, the healthy abundance, the healthy security that we truly desire. So it will be questioning how safe we feel, how stable and secure we feel in ourselves. So that is really what this Venus is about. And she makes an opposition to Uranus as well during the entire, pretty much during the entire 3-month phase, because, you know, from Venus going into her shadow period and coming back out again, we're looking at about 3 months, so it's a long period of time. And with Uranus, this is the unexpected, this is the sudden enlightener, this is sudden change. So sorry, I thought my battery died. So this can be sudden surprises, this can be things coming out of the blue, this can be somebody coming into your life who's completely different to anyone you would ever have thought you'd be with or be attracted to. So this can be fate, it can be destiny, of course it can. It can also be, if you're not interested in being with somebody, this can be tremendous spiritual and emotional growth and liberation. Let's not forget, Uranus rules liberation. So what I really, really adore about this Venus retrograde is that there is a chance here for all of us, if we want, to release some patterns, some emotional baggage that we have held for years, and I'm talking years. Scorpio rules those psychological patterns that get ingrained in us from early childhood. It rules the kind of the legacy that gets brought down to us, especially through the feminine side of the family. There is an opportunity here for us to, with Uranus there, liberate ourselves from dark circles of behavior, from codependency, from if we've been subject to narcissistic abuse or any kind of abuse, and we wonder why we always attract the same person. This is a time when we can start looking within and saying, well, how much do I really love me? How much do I value me? Right, okay. And it's not about putting the blame on yourself, but it's understanding the part that you play, because we all play a part, don't we, in what we attract. And so then you can be liberated in that honesty, in that healing, and finally find that you never attract that same kind of person again, or you're never taken advantage of again. This could see people feeling so confident in who they are that suddenly they are finally bold enough to follow their dreams, to start that business, to be who they truly are. So I really am excited about this retrograde, more than any other actually this year. Well, they've all been exciting, but I love this one. And it's about transformation. The phoenix is a symbol of Scorpio. The phoenix that, you know, goes into the fire and rises up out of the ashes. Think, I've forgotten her name, Game of Thrones. You know who I'm talking about, it's Queen of Dragons. So think of her, okay? You know, I don't know if you remember that scene where she went to the fire. Sorry if you guys haven't seen it yet, but if you haven't seen the scene, where have you been? She goes into the fire and then she comes out and she's got the dragons, the little baby dragons all around her, and she's naked and she's been reborn. This is what we're being asked to do. We're being asked to sacrifice something, some long-held belief that is not valid, that actually disempowers us, to go deep and to transform, to go through this fire of transformation and to come out, you know, and to come out more whole. And the beauty of this is the retrograde will end in Libra. And what is Libra about? Libra is all about relationships. So we go through this sacrificial fire, we allow ourselves to be transformed, and then we come into this area, we come into this space of relationship and balance and harmony and equal give and take and fairness and understanding our position as it relates to another. Okay, so if we work with this, it can be beautiful energy. And I love Scorpio. I think Scorpio gets such a bad rap, but Scorpio is bold and brave. And if now is the time to be bold and brave with ourselves, bold and brave with our own honesty, with our own hearts. In a sense, I feel like, you know, Scorpio is the suicidal one of the zodiac, and I don't mean that in a horrible way. But I love it because Scorpio will die unto itself in order to experience rebirth. And in a sense, that's what we need to do. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to mention about this. I think that's about it. There will be a nice trine to Neptune during this Venus retrograde, which will bring about romance and creativity for anybody who's an artist, for anybody who is spiritual. You could be really directing this energy into your art, into your work, into your creativity. But this is, like I said, this is ultimately about our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with love, and how we are loved and how we allow ourselves to be loved. And I think it's interesting also to think about sex and the role it plays in your life. How do you view sex? Do you view it as sacred? Do you view it as an exchange of energy? Or is it something that just happens? Sorry, something stuck in my teeth. You know, that's another way to look at it. How beautiful do you feel? Do you feel you are lovable? I can honestly say that something that this is quite apt actually, saying I just had something stuck in my teeth. For me, a big reason why I put off starting this YouTube channel, you know, a few years ago was because of the fact that I was very self-conscious about my teeth. And I'm happy to say that. I thought, oh my God, because I don't have straight teeth, they're goofy. I know that, okay? I know. So, and I know I can have them fixed if I want, but anyway. That was part of the reason why I didn't start this channel, because I thought, oh my God, no, you know, like everyone's going to see, and I'm going to feel so embarrassed and shy. And then after a while I just thought, what is this about? You are who you are, and you're beautiful in your own right, inside and out. And I'm not going to allow something that is not deemed perfect, by whose standards anyway, to stop me from doing the very thing I'm passionate about and that could help so many other people. So anyway, this Venus retrograde is going to be, I believe, a very special one, and ultimately it has the potential to be a life-changing retrograde if we use that power, and the universe will be there to support you. If you don't know what to do, if you say to yourself, or if you think, okay, well, that sounds great, but how do I go within? Where do I even begin? Do something like go for a walk. Sit silently in a nice space in your home and just close your eyes and contemplate these things. See what comes up. The universe will guide you, and the reason why I'm so certain of this is because when there is such potent energy in the air for us to transform, all it takes is a little show of willingness on our part, and before you know it, the universe grabs you by the hand and goes, here we go, this is exactly where to go. And don't be surprised if your dreams just come to light as a result of this. I've been asking a lot of questions over the past week or so, and my dreams have just become incredibly deep, incredibly revealing. I even met a new spirit guide last night. I met two actually over the last 2 nights as a result of me asking these questions. If anybody wants any information on how to do certain processes to go within, I'm happy to share that with you. Just let me know, leave a comment down below, and I can share this stuff with you guys. Feel free to go to my blog as well, on my website, to check out other stuff that I've written about Venus retrograde. But, you know, all in all, this is a time of transformation that can see us really, really shooting out of the ashes, really being that phoenix and being the light in our own life, and all of a sudden feeling, I don't need anybody. I'm whole on my own. I don't need someone. I would just like someone. And all of a sudden that neediness, that dependency, that insecurity is gone. It's shifted because we've done that inner work. Okay, great. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to be back with lots more. I think I'm going to do a little mini series for Venus retrograde through each sign over the next few days. Plus, if this Venus conjuncts either your Neptune, your natal Pluto, or your natal Uranus, this is going to be a really big deal for you guys, okay? A really big deal. So I'm going to make a separate video on that. That'll be coming up soon. I will pop the link in the comments or in the about section below. But I want you to watch that because that's some life-changing stuff, okay? So make sure you check that out. Another thing to mention is that I'm going to start a little Dream Corner series. So this is where I just basically help to interpret the meanings of different dreams, different symbols. I will welcome your comments and your questions, and I can do different videos. So I just think that'd be really fun. I love interpreting dreams. It's a really fun little hobby of mine. Alright guys, it's wonderful to be back. I'm absolutely loving it, and you're going to be seeing a lot more of me. So thank you so much for watching. Take care. Much love.